Hello, everybody. I'm Evan Bunn, and welcome to the Not a Role Model podcast. Thank you for joining me on this second episode. And if you'd be so kind to hit that thumbs up button and press the subscribe if you want more every Sunday. And with all that out of the way, let's get to some stories. The first story happened to me this past Saturday. I pulled out of my apartment complex parking lot and headed down the road, coming up to a stoplight. Lights red, so I was starting to slow down, but as I got close, it turns green, so I let off the brake and start moving through the intersection. And then this fucking guy on a motorcycle, he'd been sitting there at the light for a little bit, so he definitely saw me. This older dude decides he's gonna slowly move forward and fucking turn left, bang a left, right into my direction. So I, not even going fast, fucking have to slam on my brakes, come to a stop. He does the same thing, and we're like a foot away from each other. I couldn't tell if he was more mad at himself or if he was mad at me, which doesn't even make sense or even matter because he's the one in fault. Because I fucking did nothing wrong, but he was flailing his fucking arms at me, getting all pissed, face all red. Fucking not my problem. So he fucking backs up, books it out of there, and I do the same. And I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he was drunk. I don't know, but fuck that guy. Never gonna see him again. But I don't I don't hate bikers, but if you're on a fucking motorcycle, you just gotta be a lot more aware because you are just out in the open. But still, fuck that guy. Moving on. Next story I got happened to me a pretty long while ago. I'm 22 now. This probably happened when I was 16 or 17. Was out with all my friends. We all were longboarding down a hill. During that time, one of my friends, I'm not gonna name his name, but he was going down the hill for the first time. He never really longboarded or anything, and he got going pretty fast, picking up some speed, and he fucking no helmets, obviously, and he fucking ate shit. Back of the head hit the fucking pavement, skinned his back, his knee, everything. He fucking did not like that. So he was down for the day. But that day, like later on, we were still doing that hill, and this pickup truck comes up. It was a smaller, like a red pickup truck, one of those like a Ford Ranger, one of those types. And this kid, I know his name. I won't say it though, but he like rolled down his window after he pulled up and yelled out like, "Come over here!" And I stupidly walked over. And as I was getting closer, he pulled a gun out and pointed at me. And I like was super close now, like within arm's reach, and he asked if I thought the gun was real as he fucking like pointed it at my head. And I don't know why I did this, because it's exactly like the saying, I brought a knife to a gunfight. I pulled my knife out and asked him if I thought this was real. Like, this real, motherfucker? But I grabbed his arm and like pushed the gun out of the way so it wasn't in my fucking face. And he asked if I thought it was real. It looked fucking 100% real to me. So I was fucking scared. But after I pushed it away and I pulled out my knife, he told me he was just kidding or whatever, but it's not really something to fucking joke about. He just drove off. But I learned about him later on that year. I didn't know who he was at the time, but I learned about who he was, and this kid always going to trouble, always getting in trouble with the cops. He actually went to jail a few times, or at least for a few years, and he was just fucking up his life. So I haven't seen him since then. So maybe he's doing better. I don't know. But that's from when I was younger, like 16, in high school, and so now I'm 22. I'm older. I say that with fucking in quotes because obviously that's not old, but I feel like I got a lot of my craziness out when I was in high school. So I could definitely do a bunch of episodes just about all the crazy shit that I've done in high school. Well, I should have gone to jail sometimes, but let's save all those stories. Some of these stories are still from high school though. this next story, I think pretty sure it was during my sophomore year. So that's a 10th grade. Yeah, 10th grade. My friends and I were all getting our licenses and shit, and getting all the hand-me-down cars that weren't fucking the best, but hell, we were excited to at least get a car and drive. So one day, school's done with about 2:45 or 3 o'clock, whatever, and in the afternoon, we were getting in our cars. A lot of people carpooled with their friends. I carpooled with my one friend who lived in the same neighborhood as me. He drove I think it's an Oldsmobile Aurora, Ahora. I don't know. It might just be Aurora, but we called it Ahora just because of the shitty the shitty fucking wordplay or for some reason. But yeah. So I got in his car, and then we had another friend who was in a Ford Focus, early 2000s one. Nothing cool, just a four banger, and then another friend in a shitty fucking. It was like a Pontiac. I can't remember what it was. Like I think it was a Pontiac van. Just this ugly piece of shit fucking car. But we all hopped in our cars and we were all taking the same roads to get home. And we happened to be on a road. I can't remember what it was called, but it's at least for 2 miles, just a straightaway, just a straight flat piece of road. So perfect for fucking racing. So obviously we fucking raced it. And speed limit there, I think it's like 45. Some places it might be 50, but it's usually 45, and we're fucking doing, at least, I'm not sure about the van, but the fucking Ford Focus and the Oldsmobile I was in, we're doing at least like 100 miles an hour. Maybe the fastest we went was like 115, but fucking fast in the car. So the car I was in, the Aurora, it's a V6. So I would say out of all three cars, it was probably the best because the Ford Focus is probably a four banger. But the Ford Focus did pass us at one point, and the van never stood a fucking chance. It sucked, but he was just still doing it for the fun of it. But the Ford Focus passed us, and my friend was determined to gain a shit ton more speed and pass the Focus because he didn't want to be beat by a shitty car. And before we finished at the stoplight, because at the end of the 2 miles there was a stoplight, but we speed up to probably like around like 115 to 120-ish maybe. It might be a little bit exaggerated, but it felt like a lot. And we get um, over in the other lane, going the wrong way in anticipation to fucking pass, and we see a goddamn dump truck coming. And so we obviously got to make a move. We either got to pass or brake and get back behind and lose the race. But of course, he decides we have to pass, and so he just presses on the fucking gas pedal a little bit harder. And fucking, when I say it was fucking close, I mean it was goddamn close by like the hair on our teeth. Passed for the fucking hair on our teeth, and that was the last time. No, that wasn't the last time we raced, but it definitely scared the shit out of us. But we fucking won, so. But yeah, only a few times more at most, maybe one more time for race. We raced again because that's all. I remember racing, I guess, just one more time, and that was even worse. That time was even worse than the one I just talked about. So I'll talk about that one. It was this summer day. My friends and I were all playing basketball, and someone goes up to shoot a layup. And my other friend guarding, doing defense, he goes up to the lock and he jams like the webbing in between your finger and your thumb, like when you like outstretch your hand, like that like little webbed part. It goes just fucking straight into like the little hooks or like the little loops that hang that for the net to hang, and it just fucking stabs right into that. And you can like see like white shit in his hand, and it's bleeding like a fuck ton. And so we all hop in our cars, just two cars, and we go to the emergency room. And I'm pretty sure we're in the Oldsmobile Aurora, and then there's a Ford Focus, not a Focus, a Ford Explorer. Yeah, there's a Ford Explorer, and so he's freaking out. We take him to the emergency room. He gets stitches, and that kid ends up going home with his mom. And we all head home. There's this road. I think it's called Bird. I think it's like exactly 1 mile long, but it's full of huge hills. And so I'm in the car with my friend in the Oldsmobile, and in the passenger seat, and we have another friend in the back. And then in the other car, the Ford Explorer, it's just my friend in the driver's, and then a friend in the passenger seat. And we're driving, not really going the speed limit, but not going crazy. And kind of seems like no one's on the road but our two cars. And so uh, the car I was in, the kid, my friend I'm friends with, decided to pass the Ford Explorer, but we were fucking going up a big hill with no way of seeing what's on the other side. So while we were in the completely wrong lane, we speed up to pass, and at the crest of the fucking hill, we see a car coming straight for us, head-on collision, about to crash into us. My friend driving had no idea what to do. We were side by side, next to the Ford Explorer. My fucking life was flashing before my eyes. My friend in the back, no idea what was going on. He had no idea. He couldn't see. He was like laughing at like a joke we had just said, and fucking no idea what was going on. And my friend decides to jerk the car to the right into our other friend's car, and we hit them super hard, and it's my fucking side, and so I'm freaking out, screaming, "Holy fuck! Holy fuck! Holy fuck!" And my fucking heart's beating on my chest. And fucking my friend in the back still, like, he didn't know right until we hit my friend. He didn't know what was going on, and then he started freaking out. And but he didn't know we were about to have a head-on collision. He didn't see that car yet. And the car in the side of my friend, after we hit him, he ends up in the ditch on the side of the road. And the car in front of us was able to fucking brake, thank fuck, and like pull off to the very, very side. So at most they would have like scraped windows maybe, but still there's pretty extensive damage on both of my friend's cars. And the other car was completely fine, obviously, but cops get called, neighbors come out and everything, and everyone's parents come to the scene, except the parents of the friend in the back who had no idea what was going on. The cop asked him where his fucking parents were, and he just looks at the cop, just kind of like smirks. He's like, I don't know. And that just made us all laugh, but he's like, nope, it's serious. And so he actually came home. He didn't come home with me, but my parents took him home. But he was like the friend who you could go to his house and you could do whatever you wanted because the parents never answered the phone or anything. So you could do whatever you wanted. They didn't care. But yeah, we had to take him home, and everyone goes home. I think there was tickets issued, definitely. But I'm pretty sure we definitely learned our lesson. Pretty sure we never raced again. And if we did, it was never that crazy. It wasn't like we don't care about who wins now, but yeah, I glad I got that kind of out of my system. It'd be cool to do it on like a real track or something, but I wouldn't do it on a real public road now. Would have died eventually if we kept on doing that. And then for the next story, this last little tidbit, a little shorter one, it's about my first car, the 1997 Saturn SL1. This car, the Saturn SL1, was not the best car, because when did I get it? Because I'm 22 now, it's 2019. So, 4, 5, 7, I don't know, around 2014, 2015. But it wasn't the best car, but hey, it got me everywhere I needed to go. It was my first car, at least I had one, I guess. But it had a bunch of problems that after a while, wasn't able to keep on fixing it. All the little problems created a big problem. We decided to sell it and get a new one. New to me car, but way more reliable. And after we sold it, we got the new car and everything, and heard by word of mouth that the car that we sold was involved in a crime by the guy it was sold to. The new owner loaned the car to a friend or like an employee who happened to not have a license and maybe drunkenly or just, I guess, stupidly hit a person and drove away. A hit and run, and the fucking dude he hit was killed in the process. And no suspects or anything until the owner, the new owner we sold it to, he calls insurance or the police or something. I think insurance because he wants to file a claim on the car, stating he like hit a deer, not a deer, he hit a tree or like a mailbox or it hit something like a lamppost in a parking lot or something not huge, like just something minor. So an officer fucking insurance agent came out to like inspect it, and they were like, "Yeah, you didn't hit a light post. There's blood and human flesh on the front end of this car." And so the police were called, and he was arrested, and so was the dude he loaned it to who actually did the hit and run. Fucking his stupid, like, no, how can you believe that's not, like, it's an idiot. Should have at least cleaned the car or something. But yeah, they ended up being arrested and convicted for the murder. Or at least the dude who drove. The other guy just tried to, what was that? Falsify claims. Fraud, like fraud? Yeah, probably fraud. But at least they got what they deserved. And I'm super glad that my friends and I never got hurt or killed anyone like that or anything. Too smart now, I guess, or smart enough, we'll say, to risk my life like that or anyone else's. And after all that crazy shit, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you liked the podcast today, and make sure to subscribe for more episodes every Sunday. Adios.